When you observe individuals like Jimmy Butler and the immense effort it takes to achieve popularity or fame, it becomes quite astonishing. It's evident they already possess plenty, but they continue to crave more. Many invest a significant amount of their time and energy pursuing fame for themselves or for their children. However, when you truly evaluate the cost and what you have to sacrifice, it hardly seems worth it.
Yeah. Laugh it up. Questions? Ask for the mic. Nah. I'm emo. Leave me alone.
Jimmy, last year you came out with the braids, man. What's this?
I had dreads last year. For
the dreads.
Time. What's this? Yeah. This is my emotional state. I'm one with my emotions, so this is what you get.
Consider the extent to which Jimmy Butler has altered himself to achieve his status. When you comprehend the sacrifices required for fame or success in this world, those of us who truly want to follow the highest should actively distance ourselves from it. So let's start by reading Genesis chapter 46:34. That ye shall say, thy servant's trade hath been about cattle from our youth, even until now, both we and also our fathers, that we may dwell in the land of Goshen, for every shepherd is an abomination unto the Egyptians. Here Joseph advises his brothers to tell Pharaoh that they and their ancestors have been herders of livestock from a young age. Joseph was preparing the way for his family to settle in Egypt because there was a famine in the homeland of Canaan. Joseph recommends his brothers to ask to live in the land of Goshen, which is a fertile area in the land of Egypt. Goshen is ideal for them as suitable for grazing and would allow them to continue their livelihood of tending to livestock. The term abomination refers to something that is culturally or religiously detestable or offensive. Egyptians, particularly those of the higher classes, often looked down upon shepherds of livestock herders, considering them to be a lower status. In simple terms, the value system of the highest and the value system held by Egyptians are complete opposites. Jacob and his sons kept sheep, which was an abomination to the Egyptians. The way they lived their life significantly differed from the way we live ours. But if we find ourselves living like the modern day Egyptians, we are essentially in direct opposition to the Most High. What confuses me is when someone claims to have been following the truth for a long time, yet their lifestyle closely resembles that of someone they considered not to be aligned in the truth. We send our children to the same schools. We have the same ideals about making money. We go about our job process in the same way. Almost everything we do is identical. We should always keep in mind that adopting the ways of the Egyptians goes against the commandments of the highest. The objective should be to separate ourselves mentally and physically from their way of life. I want you to take a realistic look at your life and see how it's different from the people around you. So let's read Mark chapter 8, verse 35. For whosoever will save his life shall lose it, but whosoever shall lose his life for my sake and the gospel's, the same shall save it. For what shall it profit a man if he shall gain the whole world and lose his own soul? Or what shall a man give in exchange for his soul? These are the words of King Yeshua. Mark chapter 8 verse 35 is understood as encouragement to prioritize the future kingdom over the present one. Those who solely concentrate on preserving and improving their lives in the current world may find themselves excluded from the future kingdom. For those who believe in that sort of thing. On the flip side, those who are willing to give up worldly pursuits and pleasures in favor of following Yeshua and his teachings can ensure their place in the forthcoming kingdom. But does worldly pursuits mean we're supposed to be allergic to money? Proverbs chapter 13, verse 22. A good man leaves an inheritance to his children's children, and the wealth of the sinner is laid up for the just. Proverbs 13:22 emphasizes the virtue of leaving a legacy not just for one's immediate offspring, but for also the generations to follow. It suggests that a good or righteous person plans ahead, manages resources wisely in order to provide for the future welfare and the stability of his family, even after he is gone. The second part of the verse says that the wealth accumulation by sinners through unrighteous means, i.e., commandment breakers, will eventually be transferred to the benefit of the righteous. It ultimately boils down to the character of the individual who acquires wealth and the method used to obtain said wealth. Jeremiah chapter 17, verse 11. As a partridge sits on eggs and hatcheth them not, so he that gets riches and not by right shall leave them in the midst of their days, and at his end shall be a fool. The Most High is suggesting that individuals who acquire wealth through an unjust or illegitimate means will not enjoy or retain their wealth in the long term. The phrase not by right implies through dishonesty, exploitation, or immoral means. The verse warns that such individuals will lose their wealth in the midst of their days, meaning before they can truly utilize it. Additionally, they will be considered foolish at the end of their lives because of the way they acquired and lost their wealth. So it's not talking about wealth, and acquiring material things is not the problem. But the way we go about it is what could turn the Most High against us. Mark chapter 8:36. For what profit a man if he gain the whole world and lose his own soul? In simpler terms, striving in the present world at the cost of forfeiting your place in the future kingdom is unwise. While it might be tempting to judge individuals like Jimmy Butler and those similar to him, we should examine ourselves to ensure we are not overly focused on achieving in this current world at the expense of what truly matters. In verse 37, or what shall a man give in exchange for his soul? Again, this verse emphasizes the incomparable value of one's soul. It asks for us to consider what could possibly be worth in exchanging our place in this kingdom for our place in the kingdom to come. The implied answer is nothing we can see now is worth what we will receive in return. In essence, these verses highlight the central teachings of the value of our soul. Followers are urged to commit themselves to the teaching and the path laid out by Yeshua, even if it means sacrificing our status now. We face two choices: either engage in actions that go against the Most High and his principles or his commandments, or adopt practices that are against the Egyptians. Many foolishly believe that they can walk the fine line, following the ways of the highest while incorporating some of the Egyptians' idolatries. But that's fool's gold. We have to completely reject their whole way of living. Deuteronomy chapter 8, verse 2. And thou shalt remember all the ways which the Most High thy Elohim led thee these 40 years in the wilderness, to humble thee and to prove thee, to know what was in thine heart, whether thou wilt keep the commandments or no. Walking in the path of the highest often involves moments of humility and hardship. Yet when we encounter those difficulties and start resorting to the ways of this current world, we're essentially departing from the ways of the highest. There is no balancing act. It's a clear choice. So to end all this, we have to make sure that we're living our life in a way that is not an abomination to the Most High, and rather live a life that is an abomination to the Egyptians. That's it for today. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.